Hi everyone, let's talk about Aew Worlds End. This pay-per-view was a great pay-per-view. I don't care what anybody says online. All these people on YouTube saying, "Oh, this show was bad. Oh, this show was blah 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 blah." Let's talk about it, guys. This was a great show in my opinion, and I'm not going to hear it from other people's opinions. I have my own opinion, so there you go with that one. And this pay-per-view was great. Let's talk about it. So we had Iron and Maya World versus the Sisters of Sin, Julia Hart and Sky Blue, which was a fun match on the Zero Hour. Let's talk about it. So let's talk about it, guys. So we had Iron and Blue to start, and Sisters take control quickly, and Babyface team tried to seriously dive, but get caught into a Cyril rolling neck breaker off the apron into the floor and back inside. Hyan getting worked over a bite and tag to rolled and back elbow in the corner and missile drop kick and fires up and fireman carry and Julia slips out and rolls through a double stomp and gets Maya a near fall. Then taking Hart to the corner and tag to Hyan and rolled pass into the floor and teammate gets a boot and tag to Sky and a big super kick connects and Maya back inside and trading elbows with Blue and she gets the cold Blue but Rold isn't the legal woman and Hyan blasts her with a drop kick to break it up anyways and Hyan cuts off now and then Sisters of Sin wins by pinfall with a swinger rock bottom on Hyan and that's what happened right there, guys, and that's how the Sisters of Sin won with a Simpson swinging rock bottom of on Hyan. I'll say it again, guys. Sisters of Sin won by pinfall with a Since swinging rock bottom on Hyan, and that's what happened right there, guys. Which I give it up to all those women. Give it up to the Sisters of Sin. Give it to Hyan and Mayrold. Give it up to those women, man. I'm telling you, they got a bright future. Even though they're getting people over, they really are. They're getting a lot of people over in AEW. They really are. They're getting a lot of the big stars over. Hyan and Mayrold are getting a lot of the big stars in AEW wins. So give it up to those women, as well. Even though they're losing their matches, give it up to them as well. And not complaining like Tyga Knox and what's her name, Mariah LC or whatever her name was. You never hot, Hirani LZ. You know what I'm saying? The teammate that Tyga Knox had Nixon Neilwell. Nixon Neilwell. Tyga Knox. So yes, guys, I hope the best for them. Like I said again, I hope the best for those two, even though they walked in bad terms and stuff, and they wanted to beat, Anna Jay and Ty Conti, but Ty Conti and, Anna Jay were there longer than they were. So, you know what I'm saying with that long story. Ty Mello, but I call her Ty Conti, but you know what I'm saying, guys. Then we had Zach Gibson fences Eddie Kingston. This match was fine on the Zero Hour. This match was fine for what it was, in my opinion. Wasn't a big fan of it, but it was fine match. But let's talk about it anyways. So we had Eddie Kingston hot out the gate and taking it out to both Grizzly Young Vets to Zach Gibson nails him with a dive and turns to the tie and trading elbows and an elbow drop from Zach and pie phasing Eddie Kingston and trading chops now, and Eddie gets the better of him and chomps him with a lariat and a machine gun chop and a big boot, and Drake chokes him with his scurf, and then Zach Gibson with a diving cold breaker and jawing at Eddie Kingston and betraying him for having fans, and Eddie Kingston fills with a steel wrist refill and shrugging chomps off and hailing off with a Bista palm strike and Zach Gibson gives as good as he gives, but Eddie Kingston nails him with a Izanari and a DDT, and it's over. And Eddie Kingston wins by a DDT, and that's how he won by DDT, and that's how Eddie Kingston defeated Zach Gibson and stuff, guys. And I give it up to the Grizzly Young Vets. I love those guys, and we're going to see a match between, Ortiz and Eddie Kingston fences the Grizzly Young Vets on Collision this coming Saturday, guys. So yes, guys, can't wait for that with the Maximum Carnage Collision. Can't wait for that, guys. And it's going to be in my other hometown in Phoenix, Arizona. Can't wait, guys. Can't wait for that episode. Then the post match James Drake attacks Eddie Kingston and chokes him with his skirt some more, and Zach Gibson takes over and choke slams him, and then James Drake goes up top for a drop kick, but Ortiz returns and makes the save and swinging the mad ball like a madman to run Grizzly on Fetz off. Then we had then we had this match, guys, which was good. I'm telling you, this match right here, which was a good tag match. I'm telling you, on the Sierra Hour as well, guys. This was a good match. Let's talk about it. So we had Bandito and Mascara Dorora fences the Don Callis family, Mark Davis and Rocky Romero. Let's talk about it, guys. Lucha, lucha, lucha. Yeah, baby, Bandito and Mascara Dorora. I can't, man, those guys are good. Mascara and Bandito, Bandito, and Mascara, man. Let's talk about this stuff. Lucha, lucha, lucha. Yeah, sorry, guys. A lot of hype. Bandito on the wrong side of town early on, and he managed to scoop Davis up, but couldn't slam him off the ropes. And Mark with a scoop and a slam and a suicide, nailing on him for a pin, only for one, and then tag made, and Mascara and Rocky turn the heat up. Big turns from Mascara and fires up, and then no lock into chops and kicks, and up top kick, and Mark Davis off the apron, and a cinch press lucha arm drag, and then Rocky does the fake out in the ropes, and Mascara falls for it and caught by Mark Davis onto the floor, and Rocky blasts him with a kick, and Bandito takes Rocky out with a cinch Tara Era onto the floor, and Mark Davis blasts him with a hard right, charging hop attack next to the barricade and back inside Mascara, and Mark Davis trade shots in a suicide from the big man, and Mascara ducks under and tags Bandito in, and ducking behind Rocky and right hands and one hand military press, and Mark Davis runs in and breaks it up, and Bandito doubles boots up, and Mascara lands a crossbody on both men, and Bandito hits a torero to take them down, and match breaks down, and Rocky gets a cover off his running Sasnari only for two, and an X knee connects, and then Mascara off the top and a shooting star press, and since Toro whips Mark Davis out and Rocky in position, and Bandito and Mascara win by pinfall with a 21 plex from Bandito on Rocky Romero, and that's what happened, guys, and that's how they won, and that's how Bandito and Mascara defeated Rocky Romero and Mark Davis in this tag match, and Bandito picked up the 21 plex. Also, again, Bandito picked up the 21 plex on Rocky Romero, and that's how he picked up the win for him, and Mascara defeating Rocky Romero and Mark Davis. Fun match, guys, I'm telling you, on the Sierra Hour. That was a fun match, I'm telling you. Man, I'm telling you, guys. Those guys are good, I'm telling you. Like I was saying again, Lucha Libre Wrestling, I'm telling you, guys. Good stuff, I'm telling you. Sorry talking fast, but I always talk fast. Then we had another match on the Sierra Hour as well, guys. This was on the Sierra Hour. This was the last match on the Sierra Hour. Let's talk about it. So we had Jet Speed, Kevin Knight, and Mike Bailey, and the Jurassic Express, and Jack Perry, and Jack Perry and Luchadors fences Josh Alexander and the man Bishop Khan and Ricochet and Talia. I'll say it again, guys. We had Jet Speed and the Jurassic Express fences. The Don Callis, one of the Don Callis family members, Josh Alexander, and then the man Bishop Khan and Ricochet and Talia. Let's talk about this match, guys. This was a little fun match, but let's talk about it, guys, anyways. So the heels well in control early, working Mike Bailey over, and then ultimately Jack Perry takes in the lead, and the one-man offense of the heels, and forcing the babyface team to work harder and longer, and Ricochet with a dead valley driver, only for a near fall on Jungle Boy Jack Perry, and Luchadors is back and hanging up and fighting mad, and Jack Perry ducks under Spirit Gun and tags the Dinosaur Man, Luchadors in, and taking Ricochet out with a lariat, and Mike Bailey whips Tyler out with a triangle moonsault, and then Knight springboards on Bishop Khan and Josh Alexander, and Luchadors spikes Ricochet with a choke slam and tags Jungle Boy Jack Perry in, and then Jet Speed and Jurassic Express win by pinfall with the running knee from Jack Perry on Ricochet, and that's how what happened right there, guys, and that's how Jack Perry picked up the win with a running knee on Ricochet, and that's how they picked up the win, and that's how Jet Speed, Kevin Knight, and Mike Bailey, and Jack Perry and Luchadors defeated Josh Alexander from the Don Callis family and the Demand, Bishop Khan, and Ricochet and Tyler, guys. Then we have this match. The main show, guys. Okada fences to Testa. A lot of people complained about this match. This match was great, even though Okada picked up the win with the screwdriver. Still a great match. Don't care what you people have to say. In my opinion, this was a fun match. Let's talk about it. So, filling out and Color and Elbow, both men playing it safe, and Tutesta gets a hammerlock, and Okada counters with a heel trip, and Tutesta counters with a heel hook, and Okada rolls through in a side headlock, and Tutesta gets to his feet and gets to the ropes for a break, and Okada with a front kick tried to an early rainmaker and no deal, and a sidestep and a knee from Tutesta off the ropes, and a corkscrew lariat from Tutesta in action to the floor, and the rainmaker drops Toehold and Tutesta into a steel chair, and then plants him with a DDT onto the floor and back inside. Okada growing Tutesta, and Tutesta laying forearm in, and Okada plants him with another DDT and whips across, and Tutesta catches him with a delayed suplex to the floor again, and Tutesta blasts him with a suicide dive, then back inside, big boot to the corner, and Tutesta looking for a Cobra clutch. I'll say it again, guys. A Cobra clutch, but Okada claws at his eyes and breaks free and boots up into the corner again. Now Okada hits the reverse neckbreaker scoop and a slam, and then Rainmaker up top, and driving elbow connects, and Rainmaker sends Stoom flip off, the flip off, guys, the flip off the bird, and then pressing the middle finger into Tutesta's forehead, and then the Alpha heels off with a six elbow, then trading elbows in the middle of the ring, and Tutesta fires up in a stagers him with three in a row, and then back to trading uppercuts from Okada. This time it's Tutesta who stringers to Tombstone reverse, and then the Alpha wins the exchange with the roll barrel. Tombstone power driver rolls right into the roll barrel duplex, and then Okada fires up, and a since Rainmaker counters into the blue Thunder driver. Then Tutesta calls for it, and then a running knee. Then Okada catches him, and then fights out of a front chancellery short arm lariat, but Tutesta remains on his feet and hammers him with elbows in a twist control manage, and Okada blasts him with another lariat and draws him back up, and Tutesta lands a hard elbow, then ducks the rolling elbow in a back slide roll through, back slide roll through, and at a side steps the knee, and then German suplex on the rebounds, and then a Rainmaker hangs onto the twist lock, and looking for the twist lock, he gets it, and then Tutesta rolls under in a victory road no deal, and then a fiercely elbow from Tutesta and a shotgun dropkick from Okada, then the Alpha off the ropes, and Okada drops him with a dropkick, and then Rainmaker blocks with a boot, and then a poison for a poison Frankensteiner connects, and Tutesta charges, and Okada kicks out of the power drive knee, and then a Raging Fire counter, then back elbow up the charge, and then Okada has the screwdriver, and Tutesta blasts him with a knee, and then goes for a Rainmaker, and Okada ducks under and gets a Rainmaker, and then spikes him with the screwdriver. Then the ref doesn't see it, and then Okada picks up the win with the screwdriver shot with the forehead, and 1, 2, 3, guys, and that's how Okada defeated Tutesta with a screwdriver shot to the forehead, and that's what happened right there. That was a great match. Give it up to Okada and Tutesta right there, man. Great wrestlers, great wrestler, I'm telling you, both of them. Oh man. Then we had Moxley fences Fletcher. This match was great. I'm telling you, John Moxley fences Kyle Fletcher. Oh my gosh, good stuff, good stuff. Oh, baby, let's talk about this, guys. So we had a test of strengths in the corner and I'll say it again, clean break from Kyle Fletcher, and John Moxley comes out with a shove and a twist lock and standing twist again, and a shoulder arm breaker from Kyle Fletcher and an arm drag, and John Moxley pops up with a big chomp and Kyle Fletcher goes to the floor and action to the floor, and Jon Moxley is giving chase and a double twist lock. Then he bounces Kyle Fletcher face off to the announce desk and then back inside the Protostar with a scoop and a slam and a fire up chop into the ropes. And then Jon Moxley whips him to the floor and follows it after in a hard whip into the barricade. And then Kyle Fletcher comes back with an elbow and a cinch to the steel steps. And then Moxley slips onto the top of them, but Fletcher straps him and straps his legs between the steel and the apron and then hammering punches and then clawing at Moxley's face. Then a drop kicking to the steel steps and then the ref blesses him to win it in the ring and Kyle Fletcher yanks the steel steps away and Moxley crumbles and back inside ankle lock and stepping in the bit of his knee. Then a deadlock assists flexing and falling back to the suits to the knee, then kicking Jon Moxley's leg out of his knee and then twisting his leg over the middle rope and he insults and he has till 5 and then a big boot snap there cover for 2 and then picks the leg and steps over into a half crab, but Moxley escapes and hits an edge crusher and then the Protostar slips to the floor and Moxley is off the rope with a suicide dive and then back inside head of steam and a big lariat from Moxley and then trading elbows in the middle of the ring and Moxley is getting the better of him at first, but Fletcher nails him with a big one, then a shotgun drop kick from Moxley and essentially but fires up in a mountain punch in the corner out to the apron and Kyle Fletcher brainbuster onto the apron dangerously, then back inside Kyle Fletcher with the ladder bomb and still nope and back into the half crab and Moxley crawling berate. I'll say it again, guys. Jon Moxley crawling berate. I'll just say that, guys. Disparate, disparate. I'll say it again, disparate. And Kyle Fletcher replies and pulls away back and gets caught in the bulldog choke. And Moxley rushes in, and Kyle Fletcher turning purple and fading, and he's get to the ankle as a first to get out and ankle lock a sense, and he gets folded back into the grapevine. Them rolling Moxley over to the sits and deep and sitting back almost into a stiff and puller as well. And Moxley sits separate and gets the ropes up top and jockeying for precision. And Moxley bites his forehead and slips out to the apron and back inside it. And he shoves Fletcher to the crushing him and buys a second to recover. And then the bulldog choke ends in the turnbuckle for the full 5. And then a sleeper suplex. And both men are down and out. I'm telling you, amazing, just amazing, guys. Then Moxley recovers first and hits a blackout, but his knees is hurting bad. And then a near fall and a super kick. Moxley fires up, and Kyle hits the half and I'll say again. Kyle hits the half and half knee to the face. Then Moxley kicks out at 1, and then the Protostar fires up and charging it and corner kick and brainbuster in the middle of the ring, and Moxley kicks out at the last princess for a second, and then Moxley slaps him, and Kyle Fletcher puts him down with a lariat in return, and Kyle Fletcher stares off the turnbuckle and covering, looking separated for the screwdriver and small package from Moxley for 2, then back to the bulldog and choke, and then Kyle Fletcher counters to a pin and slow close, and then a paradigm shift in the middle of the ring, but the Protostar will not be denied, and Death Riders. But again, Kyle Fletcher kicks out. Then Moxley puts the body scissor sleeper on the middle of the ring, and Fletcher tries to sit up and Rich separate and rolling, getting to his knees, using his strength, and then back to his knee. Also again, back to his feet, back to his feet, back to his feet, and airway constrictioning, turning purple, and back to his knee, and Kyle Fletcher fades. And then that's what happened right there, and he's out. And Jon Moxley wins by referee stoppage with a sleeper hold, and that's what happened. And that's how Moxley defeated Kyle Fletcher, guys. And then the post-match, Kyle Fletcher wakes up furious and screams at the ref, but the result is final. And that's what happened right there, guys. Then Kyle Fletcher composes himself and drops Jon Moxley with a chomp block, and that's what happened right there, guys. And then we'll talk about this match here with the Bang Bang Gang versus FTR for the AEW World Tag Team Titles Chicago Street Fight. This match was good. It wasn't great, but it was good in my opinion. It was good at all. It was good for what it was. I mean, I know I talk so fast, and that's how I talk, guys. That's just how I talked. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I talk. But like I said again, guys, I'll say it again, guys. I'll repeat it again. This match was good. It was a good match, but but it wasn't great. But it was a good match, though. I liked it. It was a good Chicago street fight for myself, in my opinion. I thought it was good, but it wasn't great. But I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy this Chicago street fight between FTR and the Bang Bang Gang. And we're going to take a little break, guys, and then we'll talk about the Bang Bang Gang fences FTR's AW World Tag Team Title match in a Chicago street fight. Okay, we're back, guys. We're back. Let's talk about the Chicago street fight with FTR Fences Bang Bang Gang. Let's talk about it. So, pairing off, Dex Hardwood and Juice Robinson are one hand, and Cash Wheeler and Austin Gunn onto the other, and Dex used Juice Robinson's head into the steps and whips up a chair shot and that misses, and Cash throws Austin over the barricade and into the crowd as Rock Hard fights Hardwood into the stands, and then Sicily running kicks to the ribs from Cash Wheeler on Austin Gunn into the ramp, turning jobs, and throwing Austin again. Cash throwing Austin back down to the ramp, and then Dex Hardwood walking and crawling with Juice Robinson and splashing him with a bottle of water, and Cash Wheeler throws Austin Gunn over the barricade, and Stokely halfway manage a table as Dex tries to power drive Juice, but Juice Robinson counters into a Collins Col- Col- Ca- Capel into the turnbuckle and putting Dex Hardwood onto the table and Rock Hard up top, but Cash reaches him from behind and smashing a trash can into Austin Gunn's face, cover for two and thinking stop pile driver, but Juice makes the save and a captain's crossbody from Austin on Cash, and Juice Robinson with the frog splash, and Dex kicks out and then turning jobs from Juice, but Dex Hardwood claws at his face, and then Robinson comes back with a lariat and a super kick and a trust spinebuster move. No deal. Also again, no deal, no deal. Then back and forth, boom, 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 back and forth. Then Dex Hardwood with a belt shot to Juice Robinson's dome, and then Stokely halfway directs traffic, helping Cash Wheeler up, and Cash Wheeler lands Austin Gunn up and swings the candlestick, but Austin Gunn has a trash can lid shield. I'll say it again. Austin Gunn has a trash can lid shield, and Austin Gunn wells up Cash with it, then straps it across his back and a turtle power back splash against the steps. Then he tries for another, but Cash Wheeler sidesteps and Austin Gunn whips out over the Spanish announce desk, and Juice busted open and working his way to a Crutz mask front chance. I'll say it again. Front Chancellor. I'll say it again, guys. I'll repeat it again. He tries for another, but Cash Wheeler sidesteps and Austin Gunn whips out over the Spanish announce desk, and Juice busted open and working his way to a crimes. I'll just say it again. Crimson mask front chancery on Dex, but Cash Chunks blocks him and then repeatedly stomps to the knee and the ropes, and then Juice makes also again Juice making a cinch comeback, but he gets cut off, and Cash Wheeler steps his knee or since a figure four leg lock from Dex, and then Juice Robinson screaming agony and crawling, fighting, and Cash Wheeler taunting him that he will never have the tag titles, and Juice inch by inch, but Cash Wheeler drags Dex back into the corner of the ring, and Austin Gunn has a fire resistor, but Cash Wheeler cuts him off with a dropkick and then overshoots him with a suicide dive. Then Juice Robinson gets the ropes, but the ref has to inform him it doesn't matter. Then Juice Robinson almost taps, but he gets his hand on the fire resistor and sprays it at Dex for the break. Then the Juice loose, and Stokely halfway throws him into the corner and to make the save. And then stalking around Juice, and then Big Stokes grabs a steel chair, but Juice Robinson catches him and he beats a retreat. And then Rock Hard turns to Dex Harwood and well hopes him with the chair a few times, and then Stokely gets involved again, but gets thrown from the announce desk, and FTR gets themselves together in a low blow and a shadow machine, and Austin Gunn breaks it up from nowhere. And then Austin back inside, and Dex ducks the famous sir and Apollo drives him on a trash can lid, and Austin Gunn wouldn't stay down, and then Dex hooks him and Cash off the top, and a suits pile driver putting the belt in position one more time, and FTR wins by pinfall with a stiff pile driver on one of the tag titles on Austin Gunn and retains the AEW World Tag Team titles. And that's how FTR defeated the Bang Bang Gang. And that was a decent match, guys, and I liked it and stuff. Back and forth stuff, boom, 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 all that great stuff and all that. But it was just a decent match, in my opinion. Then we had this women's match. This was great. Give it up to Mercedes. Give it up to Athena. Give it up to Willow Nightingale and Harley Cameron. Let's talk about this AEW Women's Tag Team title match right here, guys. Athena and Mercedes Moné fences the base of Wrath. Harley Cameron and Willow Nightingale for the AEW Women's Tag Team Championships, guys. Let's talk about this match right here. Oh, man, this match was good. I love this match right here. So Willow Nightingale and Mercedes Moné start, and Willow Nightingale taking control and whippling her into the corner, and quick tack and completes into a knee and a side Russian leg sweep and covers for two, and Athena tags in and base with a double team on Mercedes and back and forth, boom, 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 bang, 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 ding, 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 bang, 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 bang. Good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. And a sizzling knee from the Hill team and Mercedes Moné off the apron, and Willow Nightingale sidesteps and catching her apron powerbomb, and Athena splashes her with a dive right after, and then Harley Cameron with a side body on the fallen goddess, and she gets caught, but Willow spears Athena for the save of Wrath, and back inside, the challengers work Harley over and double team and quick tag and putting boots to her in the corner, and then the heat, I'll say it again, guys, the heat statement rolls on, and Harley starts putting some separation together with chops and forearms and snapping off a DDT, crawling and tag made, and Willow Nightingale drops Mercedes Moné with a lariat on lariat, and then a backsplash counter lariat boot caught, and Mercedes lands a kick and a spinebuster and blind tag to Athena, and then Athena cartwheels out of a terrorist, and I'll say it again, terrorist, it slips out of a fireman carry and stomps off a German suplex and tossing Willow over into a knee to the face, cover for two. Then Athena flexing and showing off the ropes and bounces, tags to Harley Cameron and a neck breaker lariat to Athena, and a sling blade loses, but I'll say it again, a sling blade loose, but good enough for grounding punches, and heads up top, and Mercedes cuts her off, and everybody's stocking up, and Willow slides into for the Tower of Doom. Then Harley Cameron with a diving crossbody to the challengers off the rope, and 2-for-1 crucifix driver cover for two. Then tag to Willow and a screw through into a duplex, but Mercedes Moné breaks it up, and Harley throws Mercedes out to the apron, and then Willow collapses in Athena, but she hits a Steiner on Harley Cameron and tags to Mercedes on a low blower to the statement maker, and Willow stretches, crawling, she gets to her feet, and Death Valley driver, and Athena breaks it up, but Willow just sidesteps her into a confrontation at the junction, and then same song as since distraction and double lariat, and Willow fires up and heads up top and heel, working together to cut her off, and Tower of Doom, and Athena drops Mercedes Moné in the gory bomb into a cover, then Harley breaks it up, then Harley hooks Athena in a crossroads, and Moné Maker takes her out in turn, and Willow wants the Doctor Bomb and counters roll through, and a side in cradle, and base of Wrath win by a side cradle from Willow Nightingale on Mercedes Moné, and retains the AEW Women's Tag Team titles, and that's what happened right there, guys. And then the post-match, Mercedes skulls while Athena forms at her, and the Babes celebrate, and that's what happened, and the Babes celebrate, and that's what happened right there, guys. Then we had the match with Darby Allin versus Gabe Kidd. This was a fun match. I love this match right here with Gabe Kidd and Darby Allin. They killed it, man. I'm telling you. These two guys killed this match. I'm telling you. Really good stuff. Let's talk about it, in my opinion. So Darby with a drop kick out the gate and trading hard pump strikes into the corner, and Gabe Kidd grabs a sleeper hold, and Darby gets in the ropes, and Gabe Kidd hosses him up in the ropes and shoves him into the floor out after him, and throwing Darby Allin into the steel steps and putting him back into the, throwing him even harder a second time, and then hard whip into the barricade, and Gabe Kidd flexes about it, and Darby sidesteps a charge and puts him hard into the barricade, and Darby off the ropes, and a big suicide dive connects, and then Gabe Kid sets the stills up, but Darby under them, and it collapses him so hard that the diving plate goes flying. Then back inside, flexing, and Gabe Kid rolls out and draws a bloody Darby to his feet and throwing him inside and then out to the apron. Gabe Kid grabs Darby Allin by the neck and throws him head first into the ring post and clobbering I'll say it again, clubbing blows against the apron and Fritz elbows sends Darby I'll say it again, Darby stagering, and Gabe Kid grabs a chair, but Darby ducks and lands a Timider. I'll say it again, a feint. I'll say it again, guys. I'll repeat it again. Gabe Kid grabs a chair, but Darby ducks and lands a Fen. I'll say it again, a Fen Terminator, and Gabe Kid busts open now too, and Darby claws at his face and sets him in a chair up, missile drop kick to the floor, and back inside Gabe Kid with a shotgun drop kick that sits into the ring, and both men cover in blood and twist lock, you sick, chants, and then paint a soundtrack to chop in the corner, but Gabe Kid bites his forehead, and then a sense pump strike up top, but Darby hooking him for a power driver, but Darby's leg or wrist around the turnbuckle and double chop set, bleeding, spraying into the air, and then Darby wakes up in an avalanche. I'll say it again. Sorry, guys. Excuse me. Darby wakes up in an avalanche sunset. I'll say it again. Avalanche sunset flip powerbomb so close, and then Darby off the top, and Darby coffee drop lands with a wet turn, and then Gabe Kid is just pouring blood in his bald since spider web with since and deep sick pull over sense of the floor wherever his head sits for more than few seconds, then back inside cover, and Gabe Kid kicks out, but Darby catches him into a sense face lock, and a scorpion death drop connects, and then picks the leg, and then I'll say again, steps through, and then turns him around, and then the scorpion death locks in, and then Gabe screams a blood gore crawling for the ropes, but Darby stands on him to a sense only for his back to give out, and he has to let it go, and then stretching Gabe's fingers when he comes from behind, and then Gabe Kid hammering head butts off the ropes with a fiercely lariat, and then picking Darby up and jumping power driver. Still, Darby wouldn't stay down, and Darby managed to grab him, and that's what happened. And Darby picked up the win with a jackknife pin, and that's what happened right there. And that's how Darby Allin defeated Gabe Kid with a jackknife pin, and that's what happened right there, guys. And that's how Darby Allin defeated Gabe Kid. Great match, I'm telling you. Oh man, I loved it. I'm telling you. Then the commentary team hypes up Revolution on March 15th. Can't wait for Revolution in March. Can't wait for it. Can't wait for Revolution. Then we had this mixed nuts mayhem match. This match was fun. I love this match. A lot of people didn't like this match, but I thought it was fun with the Death Riders and the Conjuration. I loved it. Let's talk about it, guys. So the Death Riders, Claudio Castagnoli and Daniel Garcia and Maria Shafir and Wheeler Yuta versus Roderick Strong and the Conjuration, Mark Briscoe and Orange Cassidy and Tony Storms. Let's talk about it, guys. Starting off, the man all trips and brawl onto the floor, and Tony Storms mounts punches on Maria Shafir in the ring, and Wheeler Yuta comes in and throws Tony to the floor, and Mark Briscoe slides him with him, and a Swiss lock gets a back elbow and lipping elbow from Mark. Briscoe whips across and a corkscrew elbow and a quarter lariat and mount punches, and Claudio inside with an uppercut, putting boots to Roger Strong in the corner and fires up. And then Roger Strong blasts with a drop kick and chomps in the corner, and Daniel Garcia squares up with Orange Cassidy, and Orange Cassidy does his little dance off the rope and satellite DDT counter into a choke and shoving to a sleeper hold and throwing Orange around in a Sundog Billionaire corner, and Orange Cassidy is in the corner. I'll say it again, guys. I'll repeat it again. Roderick Strong blasts him with a drop kick and counters to the corner, and Dan Garcia squares up with an Orange Cassidy, and Orange Cassidy does his little dance off the ropes and a satellite DDT counters into a choke, and shoving to a sleeper hold and throwing Orange Cassidy around, and then a Sun Dog Billionaire counter, and Orange Cassidy is in the corner, and a big whip up, whip mail punch, and Maria Shafir slits in to confront him, and we'll talk about this more, guys. I got a call, so I'll be back. Sorry about that, guys. We're back again. Sorry about that. Connection does that all the time, when you get cut off and stuff. Then Mercedes, I mean to say, sorry, guys. That's what happens when you talk so fast. And a lot of M's. I was thinking about M's. Sorry. So Maria Shafir, I was thinking Maria Shafir, and Orange Cassidy both pick hands and Hawking, and Maria Shafir throws hard inside and leg kicks and whipping his leg out from under him and slips up and back. Body drops her to the floor, and Death Riders stacking up, charging strikes on Orange and hammering him unholy and sending him to the floor. And Roderick Strong comes in and eats the beat down, and they hold him up for chomps from Maria Shafir. Maria Shafir, guys, like I said again, it was Maria Shafir, like I was trying to say, but I was talking so fast and thinking about too many M's. Now it's Roger Strong's turn to eat the since belt of beatdown and gets to the floor, and Mark Briscoe in and turning up the redneck crucifix, but he gets caught too, and Death Riders far up and holding court, and now it's Tony's turn, and she hips checks Maria Shafir to the floor, and Mark Briscoe helps her work, and Claudio over and double whips to a double shoulder block, and they shake hands, and then Daniel Garcia goes for a power driver on her, then OC makes the save, and he and Tony Storms dance their way to clearing the ring, and she dubs him and lulls the kick, and Wheeler Yuta off the ring, and Maria Shafir comes inside and whips reverse, and German suplex connects, and Maria Shafir rolls away from the hip attack, and Tony ducks Claudio and dives a cinch chomp onto Maria Shafir onto the floor, and OC DDTs on Claudio, and Mark Briscoe hits a froggy barrel. I'll say it again, a froggy bowl. I'll say it again. Mark Briscoe hits a froggy bowl, and Daniel Garcia and Wheeler Yuta break it up, and Tony Storms in again. There's 2-on-1 and double cinch knocker and sets up a pair of German suplex, and Maria Shafir throws her into the corner off the ropes and a box the ears and a small package, and Claudio breaks it up and sets Tony up top where she spikes him with a tornado DDT. Then Claudio pops right up and Giant swings her, and then a combo knee from Roderick Strong now, and he and Maria Shafir square up, and she blasts him with a knee to the jaw, and then he slaps her right back, and then Daniel Garcia shoves him into her, and then Orange Punch sets him up, and then a Storm Zero connects, but I'll say it again. I'll repeat it again, guys. So he and Maria Shafir square up, and she blasts him with a kick to the jaw, and then he slaps her right back, and Daniel Garcia shoves him to her, and Orange Punch sets him up, and a Storm Zero connects, but he rolls out of the ring, and Wheeler Yuta has Tony's hair, but the Orange Punch puts him down, and then a running hip attack on Wheeler Yuta and Orange Cassidy dive on Quadio and Mark Briscoe hooks Wheeler Yuta, and then Roger Strong and the Conjuration Tony Storm win by pinfall with a Jay Drizzler from Mark Briscoe on Wheeler Yuta, and that's what happened, guys. And Mark Briscoe picked up the win for the Conjuration and defeated the Death Riders and pinned Wheeler Yuta, guys, which was a fun match. Loved it. Give it up to all the people in that match. I know it's not my cup of tea, but it was a little fun match. I loved it. You know what I'm saying? I mean to say the match was a long match. I meant to say it was a long match, and I loved it. I really did. I loved that match. That match was a long match. I'm not really into those matches, but now I'm getting into knowing the thing, more. I got into it like knowing about it more, talking to people about intergender matches and stuff, and it's a part of the story and stuff. So, you know what I'm saying? And that story's been going on for about probably 8 months, 9 months or more with the Conjuration and the Death Riders. So, yes, guys, I loved it. Loved that match. I know a lot of people crapped on it, but I loved it, though. And I don't care what anybody says that they crap on it. I don't care. Me, I love it, and I don't care about their opinion. So, then post match, the Base of Wrath joined our babyface team for a celebration and followed shortly thereafter, but also again followed short thereafter by Mia Sharakawa and Lutheran. Then Lex Miller is backstage trying to get an interview when Mercedes came screaming by and storms into her dressing room, has a sissy fit, and breaks everything before regaining her composure and consistently to the interview. And she takes issue with the idea that 2025 hasn't been good to her and settles off all of her accolades, and in response to being remain Willow Nightingale pinned her and stuff and all that, guys. And she said she was going to beat Willow Nightingale and beat her ass and all that, but we'll talk about what happened with that. Dynamite, the New Year's Mash, which was a fun show. We'll talk about that more later on tonight and stuff. So yes, guys, which was a fun show. We'll talk about that in a bit. Then this match, Jimmy Hayter versus Chris Statlander. This match was a great match. Give it up to both of those women. Give it up to Jimmy Hayter and Chris Statlander. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. I'm telling you guys. Oh man, this was good with Jimmy Hayter and Chris Statlander for the AEW Women's Championship. Let's talk about it. I'll say it again. Clara and Albo charging around in the ring, and Chris Statlander breaks clean and back to the lockup, and Jimmy Hayter shoves Chris Statlander through the ropes to break in another lockup, and Chris Statlander returns the favor, and Jimmy Hayter back inside champion with a headlock takeover and a head scissor counter, runs it in and back the other way, and trading pin presentment only near fall, then early Haterade block, early Saturday Night Fear block, and then Jimmy Hayter drops her with a shoulder block, and Chris Statlander off the ropes with a shoulder block off the ropes, and then Chris sets off a shoulder block and another one, and both women go down only to pick right back up with a tip up and a trading elbow in the middle of the ring to the apron, and Chris Statlander with a stunner over the middle rope and a sense leg drop follows it, then fighting onto the floor, boom, 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 bang, 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 bang. Then Chris Statlander collapse and Jimmy Hayter into the steel steps and flex, and then back inside, whips to the corner and back, Tuplex connects, and a fader bomb follows. I'll say it again. A fader bomb follows, counter for two. Then Jimmy Hayter hammering chomps into the corner, and Chris goes for a fader bomb again. Nobody home and kick from Hayter off the ropes, and then a clothesline sets the champion to the floor, and then she puts Jimmy out to her and runs her into the announce desk, and Hayter off the announce desk into the crowd delight, and back inside, perching up top, and a missile drop kick takes the champion down, and grounding reverse chin lock follows it up, and Chris Statlander backs her feet and kicks combo, also again, kick combination, sets up for a snap mare driver, and then counter up, also again, counter uppercut, counter knee, fireman driver, no deal, and then off the ropes, Jimmy Hayter catches her in a sense sledding lariat, nope, and then Jimmy Hayter follows it up in an exploder suplex for two, and then collar and elbow whip across, and then Chris Statlander floats over in a package pile driver, nope, enough, and then up top, jockey for precision, and Chris Statlander picks her with an avalanche driver, and both women are down and out, and then Chris Statlander puts herself together and draws Jimmy Hayter up and traps the arm, and Jimmy Hayter ducks Haterade and a suplex her and a running knee and so close, and then a Haterade ducks kick combination, and then Hater with the Hater breaker, and then Chris Enter pops right up for a suplex. Both women are down and out. Then a trading elbow to their knee and then to their feet, and then the champion with a sits lariat and a tombstone reverse. And Jimmy Hater hits a Saturday Night Near Fear, but both with it. I'll say it again. Jimmy Hater hits a Saturday Night Fear, but both women are down, then back onto their feet, and Jimmy with a lariat, but Crystal Enter picks herself together and gets her up. And then Crystal Enter picks up the win with the Saturday Night Fear and retains the AEW Women's Championship. Great match, back and forth, boom, 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 great stuff. Give it up to Jimmy Hater and Crystal Enter. Those women killed it. They really did. And the base of Raph too, and Athena and Mercedes Monet. That was a great match too. Those women killed it too. Then Tony Storms and Maria Shafir and that, mixed nut mayhem was fun as well with those women too. I'm telling you, man, that was good. That was really good stuff. Then we get a promo from earlier in the night where Don Callis hypes up his man Okada spot in the finals to the Continental, the Continental class. I'll say it again, guys. We get a promo from earlier in the night where Don Callis hypes up his man Okada's spot in the finals to the Continental Classic and says Okada's going to stay, stay as champion. You know what I'm saying? Stay as on the qualifying champion and be the first to win back-to-back Continental Classics. And he complains about Moxley throwing an opportunity to counterate back to his face, and now he's since his first fence is up on him, and he plays a long game, and he had to look at a scar Moxley left on him for 3.5 years, and Okada's going to do it to him. And Okada takes over and says Moxley has accomplished so much, but he's never beaten him, and he will never will, because he's the greatest tournament wrestler of all time. The B word, Then Moxley cuts a promo of his own about how for years he's been hearing about how Okada is and how so many like him could never beat the Rainmaker, and how the Continental Classic is a beautiful thing and the kind of the thing he dreams of as a kid, a chance to show the world and lay it all on the line, and it's a hill worth dying on. And so Okada says you're going to have to kill him and stuff like that, and that's what happened right there, guys. Then we had Moxley versus Okada. This match was great. Jon Moxley fences Okada. This was a great match. Let's talk about it, guys. Loved it. Boom, 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 boom. Great stuff. Great stuff. Great stuff. Oh, man, this was great, man. This was great. Let's talk about it. And Moxley won this Continental Classic, guys. Great for Moxley. Let's talk about it anyways. So, mostly to the corner of the ring, Okada offers a handshake, and Jon Moxley jaws at him and flips him the bird. Then Okada backs off with an okay, then express in the close for a test of strength, and putting Moxley in the ropes, and cleans breaks with the bird flip in his face, and then a counter and elbow hammerlock from Moxley, and a reverse back side headlock and an arm dragger, and then Moxley takes him to the mat and kneels him down to twist lock, and then Okada whips Moxley leg out from underneath him, and Moxley goes to the floor for a breather, and then back inside, goes behind and twist lock. The Rainmaker slips behind him and picks his leg, but Moxley rushes for the ropes to get the break, and then full Nelson from Moxley, and Okada slips out and picks the knee and nailing toe hold, and Moxley risks his eyes from the break and going forehead to forehead, boom, 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 boom. And then trading pie face, and Rainmaker picks the leg and drops an elbow on the knee and shrinks to the toe hold, and Moxley grabs his hair and punching him to break away, and then a sidesteps the charge. Okada picks him up and top and drop kicks him, and Moxley foot catching the ropes, and he crashes down and clutches the injury leg close, and then Okada goes out after him in a shin breaker into the steel steps, and fans in the front row flipping him the bird, but Moxley throwing chants, but I'll say it again, guys. Moxley throwing chants, but Okada slinks him off and knee. I'll say it again, kicked his knee. Kicked his knee. I'll say it again, guys. Moxley throwing chomps, but Okada swings him up and kicks his knee out from underneath him, and back inside. Moxley laying elbow in against Okada, taking the commission, and then just kicks his leg out of his leg, then hook heel hook. Moxley fights out with a headbutt, then back onto his feet, and Moxley pie faced him, but the Rainmaker just kicks the leg and whips off a DDT for two, and then drop kicks connects, and Moxley stagers up to his feet into the corner and off the rope, and then Okada with a back elbow, drugging him into position in a slingshot suicide automatical, on medical, that's what I'm saying, medical, and then pressing the attack and flying elbow drop, and then Rainmaker assumes flip bird, the middle finger, you know what I'm saying, guys. Rainmaker assumes bird flip and pulling it at Moxley, and then Moxley grabs his finger and twists it, and Moxley wishes bone his finger off the ropes, and then he snaps off a lariat, and Lane chomps in an elbow whips reverse, and Moxley stops and shorts off a drop kick and puts a figure four leg lock on, and then Okada fights out and Dragon Screw connects, and another one putting a coral leaf on strong hold style with a knee into the small of Moxley's back before rolling into the full impact of the hold, and then Moxley breaking hard and post up and managed to get the ropes to force the back. So again, force the break. I said back. Force the break, and then elbow in the corner and whips reverse, and Okada gets under him, and then Moxley reverse and hits the Groach. Also again, Groach pile driver, the Groach, I'll just say that. Groach pile driver, nope. Then back and forth, boom, 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 bang, 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 bang. And then Okada sends Moxley close to the ref, and then gets a clean opportunity to kick Moxley in the German area, and then he follows it with the Rainmaker, and Moxley kicks out. Then Moxley writs in pain, and Okada goes and gets the title belt and brings it in the ring, and then the ref takes it away from him, and then, well, he's percents of it, and Moxley returns the favor and uppercuts Okada low and trading elbows in middle of the ring. It sits hard elbow and sends each man storging each time, and Moxley gets light on his feet and starting to feel himself in the pace quickly, and drop kicks connects, but Moxley gets right back up and backslide rolls through in a twist lock, and Rainmaker connects and holding the twist lock, and Moxley breaks. Also again, Moxley breaks loose, and the paradigm shift connects. Cover still no. And then Moxley hits a Rainmaker of his own in a paradigm shift a second time, is scooping for the cover, and Okada kicks out at one, and a blackout connects, and then Moxley with an underhook Death Rider, and it's over. And Jon Moxley wins with a Death Rider. And I'll say it again, guys. Jon Moxley wins by pinfall with Death Rider. And that's how he wins, guys. And that's how Jon Moxley won the Continental Classic and became the new AEW Continental Champion, guys. That was good. Yes, your new AEW Continental Champion, Moxley. And then post-match, the rest of the Death Riders, since Pac comes to the ring to celebrate with Moxley, and Claudio Castagnoli straps the title around Moxley's waist as he stands in the turnbuckle. Then Tony Giovanni is in the ring to interview Jon Moxley, and he serves, also again, he serves at a grounded of his accolades and says the title doesn't belong to him and it belongs to everybody in the Continental Classic that busts their ass every day and every, busts their ass every day in that company. I'm telling the truth. They do bust their butts. They bust their ass. They really do. Everybody in AEW, they bust their ass. And I don't want to hear everybody saying stupid shit on the line, saying that this company is a joke. Oh, this company is going to freaking, blah, 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 blah. No. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. AEW, 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 AEW. There you go. That's for all the people that want to talk crap online. Sorry, I have to go off, but that's for you people on YouTube that, I care about my money. I love my money. I like to do it for the cloud, But anyways, guys, carry away. That was my little rant. But this was good. They bust their ass, like I said again. They work so hard. All the talent there, they just work their ass off. They really do. They just really do. I love this promo, what Moxley said. It's a babyface promo, but it was good. It was a babyface promo, but good, guys. But carry on. Let's talk about it. Then comes out to the ring and gives everything they had, and it belongs to the rest of those guys and to the fans who support professional wrestling with their hard-earned money, and they own to them to give everything every time they step in the ring, and that's what they do. And the hardest working wrestlers in the world, and not just the people in the ring with him, but everyone had the balls to get into the Continental Classic, and everyone in AEW who shows up every day and gives everything they have, they will continue to show up and give maximum of maximum effort because they're nothing like all elite. There's nothing like all elite wrestling. So they give 1,000% in every good team time because that's what his teammates and the fans and this job deserves. And it was great, guys. And I love the whole thing when he says, "We are the elite, we are the elite, and the elite," and all of that stuff with the elite part. That was great too with Moxley, with the whole thing, with John Moxley saying that. Good up to Okada too. Even though Okada lost that match, Okada and Moxley did great. Everybody in that Continental Classic did great, man. I can't wait for next year's Continental Classic. I can't wait for next year's. You know what I'm saying? Then we had the main event. MGF became the AEW World Champion for the second time. It felt like third or fourth times because he was so good as AEW World Champion. And this is his second time. He was World Champion for 400 and some odd days for his first reign. So let's talk about this, guys. Let's talk about this match. This match was fun. It wasn't great, but it was a fun match. It was decent for what it was. It was decent. Everybody knew who was going to win. But anyways, guys, it was great. It was great. The moment was great, but the match was fun. It was fun, but the moment was great. Let's talk about it, though. This match was decent, but not great, but the moment was great, though. Let's talk about it. So we had Hangman Adam Page, fences MJF, fences Mojo, fences Swerve Strickland for the AEW World title. Let's talk about it. So Hangman throws the first punch. Also, again, Hangman throws the first punch at Samoa Joe, then pairs off. Samoa Joe whips Hangman across, but gets pass to the floor and MGF off the ropes, and Hangman ducks and catches him, falling weight slam, and steps up into a plancha on the champion, and triangle lariat sends MGF to the floor, and Joe back inside, and a big chomp takes Hangman off his feet, and then a shoulder block on Swerve, and then cover elbow Incidari on Hangman, and Samoa Joe follows it up with a face wash and an elbow knock MGF off the apron, and big face wash on Hangman, and Swerve cuts Samoa Joe down with a kick combination. And then MJF comes in with a side headlock on Swerve Strickland, shot off, drop down, and a little stood from MJF off the rope in a scoop and a slam, and MJF gets a head of steam and lands the dick bomb, and Swerve Strickland gives up and blasts him with a boot, then a counter elbow uppercut, snare bear, and a diving uppercut, and a little suit and a dick bomb of his own, and he follows up with a Kusut special. I can't pronounce the word right, but I'll just say special. Then Samoa Joe off the ropes, and then he lands Swerve and MJF both out with a dive. Then Hangman Adam Page goes for the moonsault and sits MJF into the other two, and a punch from Joe and MJF and Swerve into the ring and cover. Then MJF chokes him old-fashioned and thinking heat seater, and Swerve Strickland throws him inside and tosses him to the floor, and a springboard, and Swerve stomp to the floor takes him out. And then Swerve back inside, and Hangman Adam Page hits a slingshot off him and sends Joe out of the ring, and him and Swerve alone into the ring now, and circling whip win bull punch and haymaker. I was thinking haymaker, and Hangman shoves him off and gets him up top for a dead eye counter and catches the kick, and Hangman Adam Page flips out in an old corner roll for two, and then back elbow springboard moonsault, and since DDT lifts a tombstone launch and reverse Swerve Strickland hits dead eye. Then Hangman Adam Page lands him up in a bug shot, but Joe breaks it up, and Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland up top. Then Samoa Joe underneath them. Then the champ throws them into MJF and covers one by one and kicks out and turns and up for the muscle buster, and Swerve Strickland slips out an up kick, wrist lock, and German suplex and plants the champion, and Hangman Adam Page back inside, and Swerve Strickland blocks the kick and gets underneath him and captures backbreaker into a tossing power slam, no deal. Then Hangman Adam Page with a back suplex on Samoa Joe, and a clothesline sets MJF to the floor, and then an angel swing on Swerve Strickland, and a moonsault takes MJF out, and Swerve Strickland ducks buckshot, but Hangman Adam Page catches him with the powerbomb for two. Then Hangman Adam Page with a boot to Samoa Joe, then charging in, and MJF with a back elbow stomp to Hangman's arm and a face wash for the champion. Then alarm clock into the corner for Swerve Strickland, and an Alabama slamming an arm drag, puts him into Samoa Joe and MJF, and ducks Buckshot, tosses him to the apron, and a heat seater blocks, and then Hangman Adam Page slingshots and gets caught with a Age Crusher, and then assault of the earth onto the kickout, and then Samoa Joe puts a swerve into the Cocaine Clutch, and MJF lets go of his break, and Samoa Joe up. And then Samoa Joe puts the Cocaine Clutch on MJF, and then he fades. And then the ref sits his arm, falls 1-2, house call, breaks it up, and then Swerve Strickland turns to MJF and drags him to his feet. And then a big pressure counter, and a victory roll for 2. And then catches a kick, and then eats the eye poke, and then MJF pokes, and then off the ropes, and then Hangman blasts him with a boot, and then a trade elbow with Swerve Strickland taking a break to kick MJF away. Then a double max trick. I'll say it again. A double main trick. I'll say it again. A double main trick offense on Samoa Joe and a double Inzanari. All 4 men are down and out, and MJF and Swerve Strickland are up first in a Panorama Sunrise. Swerve kicks out, and then Hangman hits Dead Eye on MJF for a close near fall up on the apron, and then Joe blasts him to the floor, and Swerve Strickland lands the champion out with a jumping DDT and laying in wait, but the Hobbs are here to defend their man, and then Powerhouse Hobbs pulls Swerve Strickland to the floor, and then Shibata beats MJF down, and then Hook throws Hangman into the ring, and then the Muscle Buster connects, and Hangman wouldn't stay down, and then Hook jawing at the ref and arguing with him for way too long, and then Samoa Joe comes over and joins the argument, and then the ref sounds like he had enough, but the camera pans to the focus on Prince Nana getting cornered by Powerhouse Hobbs and Shibata, and then a double swerve stop off the top, then Hangman Adam Page with an elbow on Samoa Joe, and then staring Hook down and grabbing him, then Samoa Joe from behind, and the Coquina Clutch is in, and then Swerve Strickland pulling himself up the turnbuckle, and then Swerve stomp to Samoa Joe, and Hangman Adam Page rolls out of the ring, and then the ref Swerve works on just shocking the Hobbs, and then Swerve Strickland up top, and then Samoa Joe cuts him off and claims up to it with him, and then Swerve Strickland slips out and punching his knees and gets under him, and then Swerve Strickland powerbombs Samoa Joe off the corner, then up top, and then MJF runs in and shoves Swerve Strickland to the floor, then Hangman Adam Page takes MJF off with a pump kick, then a bloodshot, I'll say it again, a bloodshot start, I'll say it again, I repeat it again, guys. MJF out with a pump kick and a bloodshot stager, I'll say it again, staging Joe in a second bloodshot, and he's still on his feet, and then fires up and ascends to the crowd, and a bloodshot number 3 is countered by a low blow from MJF, and then heat seater connects, and it's over. Then MJF becomes the new AEW World Champion and picks up the win with the heat seater on Samoa Joe and becomes the new AEW World Champion, and that's what happened right there. And Samoa Joe lost his title by MJF, and MJF pinned him 1-2-3 and picked up the win and did the heat seater on him and picked up the win 1-2-3, and that's what happened right there, guys. I'll repeat it again. So Hangman Adam Page bloodshot number 3 is countered by a low blow from MJF. Then MJF heat seaters connects and it's over, and then MJF does the heat seater on Samoa Joe and becomes the new AEW World Champion, and that's what happened right there, and he became the new champion, and MJF celebrates with the title, and that's what happened right there, guys. And I gave this show a 9 out of 10. It was a great show. I gave it a 9 out of 10, guys. I loved it so much. It was a great show. I really did. I loved AEW World's End. I really did. I really loved it. And for real, I thought they were going to do Kyle Fletcher fences to test it, but that didn't happen, but still, give it up to Moxley for winning that Continental Classic. And all the workers that worked their butts off in that company. But that's all I have to say, guys. I gave this AEW World's End a 9 out of 10. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit those notification bells as always. And this is CJD 2006. And don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit those notification bells as always, guys. And much love and peace out.